she rolling?
She is rolling.
Is it warm in here?
I'm comfortable.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, ready?
Yes.
We'll go in 3, 2. That's so it makes it easy for me to find it.
Yeah. Welcome. This is Dr. Chris Vanning at White House Chiropractic with
Hey, I'm Aaron.
Aaron, yes. And, we're doing a podcast today, and we're going to just talk about different things. Obviously, the COVID thing's still going on. And
It's getting better, though.
Have you got any good stories to tell?
There was a fella.
A fella?
There was a man. This guy was
Okay.
driving with his mask on, and the recycling CO2 caused him to pass out.
Really?
Crashed his car. Totaled his car.
Wow. Oh, man,
Yeah.
that's bad.
Oh, it was bad. It was a bad wreck. I think he's okay.
Where'd that happen?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But it's a story I saw online, so you know it's true.
Well, so this is a story I heard. My son and I just joined Elite Fitness here in White House, and I was talking to one of the people in charge there, and she was saying that some of the people would come in with masks and they do cardio.
Yeah.
So what happens when you got that mask on is you start breathing in CO2, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's the waste. Your body needs oxygen, but it also needs CO2.
Mhm.
But you don't need to breathe CO2 repetitively because it's just like there's no oxygen getting in your body. And so she had some people pass out and had to call the ambulance.
That's
Yeah.
not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing.
It's sad.
It is sad.
Yeah.
But
So-
you and I were talking earlier. It's like a divide in our a new argument point
Yeah.
where you're either pro-mask or anti-mask.
Yeah. It's creating a lot of division too.
Yeah.
And I've got a friend that's opening up a church in Kokomo Nazarene in Kokomo, Indiana. And he had a post that was interesting, but his post was talking about people that are pro-mask and anti-mask.
Oh, really?
And how it's creating a big division in the church. And I got to be honest, I've gotten frustrated
Yeah.
with it myself. And, I've got my thoughts and beliefs and stuff, mostly just based on what I know through the immune system and that, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit and share them. Anyhow, so the whole thing was don't let that divide your fellowship. Okay, there's going to be some people that are going to feel like they've got to wear the masks to protect themselves, and I understand that.
I do too.
Oh, as brothers and sisters, we need to come together. There's going to be some people that feel like they don't need to wear a mask. So when we're going to this church, we're actually going to go up there and visit, but we're going to have to put masks on, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
See, I am too. If it's required somewhere, I have no issue with it. I have. It's like we've got. If you're pro-mask and I'm anti-mask, and we pass in the grocery store, you're going to look at me and think, "What a jerk!"
Yeah.
He may be sick and passing his germs all around. I'm going to look at you and say, what a goofball.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't realize these viruses are just all over the place. But
Right.
Anyhow, so a couple of things that I wanted to share is so everybody's used to being quarantined now,
Right.
all right? And actually, this is a reverse quarantine.
It
The
is.
healthy people are supposed to stay inside,
I don't get it.
and when you're healthy, I would think you could be outside.
That's right.
That's what I'm guessing.
Throughout history.
That's my knowledge.
Well, quarantine has always been the sick people are quarantined. It's always been
Yeah.
that way.
In fact, I think this is kind of funny, but in biblical times, I can't remember if this was polio or what it was. It was probably polio. No, it was leprosy. It was leprosy. You could actually throw a rock at somebody if they had leprosy. And if you could hit them with a rock, they were too close. Yeah.
Oh man, that's terrible. First I got leprosy and now I got people throwing rocks at me.
Well, can you imagine if we did that today? It's like chucking a rock at somebody who doesn't have a mask on, get hit in the head. It's like,
I don't.
stay away from me.
In leprosy, you hit somebody with a rock and arm might fall off.
Oh, I know. You know, think if there was a David Winfield back in the day, you know, guy could throw a ball like 150 yards.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so I thought that was kind of humorous. But so in all seriousness, you know, we've been quarantined all this time, and you look at kids that are going through developmental stages. You know how I was when I was a teenager. I was very shy. I had a lot of inferiority complexes and stuff. And now more than ever, I think kids are getting more of that. You got these kids that actually stay home and order their food.
Yeah,
They're
never get out.
Shut-ins. So what's going to happen when everybody goes back to school, psychologically and mentally?
It's going to be kind of a shock to the system.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't realize there's a lot of people that have a lot of extra worries and fears and even perhaps some mental illnesses. And so we could be seeing a whole nother, you know, level of sickness with mental health. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a friend, and he was sharing with me how he was on the Greenway, and there was a child, like a 4-year-old child, that told him, "Get away from me, get away from me." It's like that.
That's sad.
Yeah. So I get what's happening there, but man, we need fellowship.
Amen.
We need handshakes, we need hugs, all
Absolutely.
that stuff.
I know
and,
I need that.
Yeah.
I'm a hugger. I'm a
Yeah.
handshaker.
Well, human nature is that.
Yeah.
That's just, God didn't make us to be by ourselves and to be in a little cubby hole and not go out. And He wants us to make a difference in our community and our world. But
Yeah.
anyhow, so that
There's
was
a
my
reason
observation
that
I'm
God
making.
tells us not to ignore the meeting of the people. And it's not God saying, "I want you all here to worship me." He does. That's true. But I think, as with everything in Scripture, there's benefits to us when we obey.
Right.
And the benefit of going to church, going to the movies, going anywhere, we're around other people.
Right.
And even I'm a bit of an introvert.
You are?
Yeah, a little bit.
I am a little bit outside. Here in the office, I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
You're very comfortable here. This is your place.
It's like being home here.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
But even during this time, I've had to leave the house. I've had to get out. You know,
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Yeah. So, you did mention movies, right?
Yes, sir.
I've been missing going to the movies.
They
I like
say
it.
movies may be going the way of 1-hour photo labs.
What is that?
Exactly. Back in the 80s, there was a 1-hour photo lab on every corner.
Uh-huh.
You stop, you drop your film off, and then slowly up to in the 90s, when digital photography was introduced,
Uh-huh.
the 1-hour photo lab started dropping off. They didn't have as much to do. By the mid 90s, they had nothing to do because everybody had gone digital. I think it was 98 when just film.
Right.
So the 1-hour photo labs closed up. There are none. They're all gone. Now, new construction homes, most of them have theater rooms.
Dude, I ain't not gonna have a theater room in my house.
Well, they're not going to keep a theater open just for Dr. Banning.
No, but for the public, Johnny Q, come on.
Johnny Q's got a theater room. And the brand new movies coming out,
I'm sorry, it ain't happening.
the brand new movies coming out are available on streaming. So
Well-
you can see like a first release movie. Let's say a movie came out this weekend. You can see it at home tonight on a big screen.
Our streaming, we're horrible at streaming.
Well, you're going to have to
We
learn
have so
to do
many
this
technical
stuff.
issues with our streaming.
I'll help
It's
you build a
ridiculous.
theater.
Yeah,
We'll get you a theater in your house, and then me and
Yeah,
Laura
yeah.
come over and pop some popcorn.
Yeah. So hey, let's just talk about health, since that's one of my favorite topics. So let's say you're at a movie. Have you ever been at a movie where somebody's sneezing and coughing and hacking?
I have. And now they've got you in assigned seating at most theaters. You can't get up and move your seat.
Yeah. So now let's just not say this is happening, but just let's say it is happening. You're sitting next to somebody. And it's I'm not saying it's to gross you out, but let's say they got green stuff coming out of their nose.
Is this a zombie movie? Because they may just be in costume.
And they're coughing and they're hacking. Their eyes are watering. They're sweating profusely. let's just talk about that person's health, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, one of the things that we do in today's society, depending on if you're a terrain person
Right.
or a bug or a body person,
Mhm.
a bug person will say, you're sick, take drugs, do this, do that. And so, a person that's looking at the body is saying the body's intelligent. If you got something inside of you that needs to be gone,
Yeah.
that's a sign of a healthy body, even though it's pretty gross looking.
Yes.
We've all had that happen, right? But you just don't need to be in public.
I don't know if I've sat
So,
next to a green-faced person.
So, you know, you have things like diarrhea, or say you're vomiting, or a temperature, or you got snot coming out of your nose, your eyes are teared up, or you're sweating. That is just your body's mechanism of getting rid of toxins or getting rid of sickness and disease. And that really is a sign of a healthy body, a healthy response.
Yeah.
So, my question is, now let's just think here. Should you suppress all that stuff?
No.
Why?
You want it to get out of your body.
So you're saying okay, it's okay for this person to be next to you? And
no, that's not okay either.
Okay. But that's what we do with the drugs. We suppress the body's innate detox systems to treat a symptom, when in fact our body is struggling, trying to get rid of all these problems that we have, and we just shut it down with medication. So I'm not saying you don't take medication, but I'm saying look at your body's response, you know, and learn a little bit about your body. And so, you know, obviously if you're having diarrhea, that's probably something you want. You know, if you have it more in a day, you probably want to slow it down a little bit.
Don't go to the movies.
Yeah.
You'll miss half of it.
Yeah. If you're vomiting, obviously you want, you know, and then you got dehydration issues and so forth. So, I mean, that was kind of a gross example, but what I want to do next is I want to go to an example that we talk about light and darkness in the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to ask you to tell me what you would compare light to, what you would compare darkness to. It shouldn't be too hard.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm up for that.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the lights off in here. Why don't you turn the lights off in here and shut the door? Shut the door. Oh shoot, we got this light on the camera. Turn the camera. There you go. It's still light in here, but...
Not really. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, but I mean, the people looking on the camera probably...
Yeah, it adjusts.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to do to drive out this darkness?
Turn on some light.
Turn the light on?
Yeah.
Can we turn the darkness off?
No.
Can we suppress it in any way?
No.
How do we treat the darkness problem?
We flood it with light. We run it out of here.
Okay. So, is darkness really an entity, or what is it? Is there anything in darkness, or?
Darkness is void of light.
Okay. So would you say that light is really the real source of energy and
Absolutely.
actually a real thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Darkness.
You can measure light. You can't measure darkness.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and turn the light on and see what happens? See
I'm a
if it
little
drives
uncomfortable
darkness
sitting in a
out.
dark room.
Let there be light. Hey, where's the darkness? I don't see any darkness.
There's
I
no
do
darkness
see some
in here.
shadows that are cast, but I don't see any real darkness. What does that mean?
It's not in here.
Where'd the darkness go?
It vamoosed.
And I mean, where'd it go to? Did it go outside of the building? Or?
No. It's erased.
It's erased, yes. Okay. So let's use that analogy to talk about health and disease. Right?
Right.
Now, can you tell me which is the light and which is the darkness, health and disease?
Oh, sure. Health is light.
It is?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's life in light. Light is energy.
Right.
Light travels. We have to have light.
Okay.
Is that the wrong answer?
No, I guess I agree with you. So what is the darkness then?
Darkness is depressing. It's void.
It is.
Yeah, there's nothing there. It's stillness. It's ugh.
Yeah. So, would you rather focus on darkness or light? Would you rather focus on disease or health?
I want to focus on health.
Okay. So, my point is that health is a real entity. It's not symptoms. It's not disease. It's not focusing on a symptom and saying, oh, you're coughing, let's suppress the cough.
Yeah,
Your
take
body
this.
is trying to adapt to some type of a stressor and get it out of the body. So we take a drug to shut it down, and guess what? What happens later on, possibly? If we keep shutting all this down, that's where people develop severe illnesses like cancer, autoimmune diseases, things like that. And so we want to be able to turn the health on as much as we can in our lives. We don't turn the health on by focusing on disease and taking drugs. That's my take on it. Somebody might have a different opinion, but so there again we talk about the two different ideologies. You can focus on the symptom and suppress the body's adaptive response to getting well, or you can focus on, hey, how can I make my body adapt better in a stressful situation so I can have more light or more health? And not only that, how can I maintain that health or maintain that light in my body so I don't have disease, I don't have symptoms, all that stuff. So anyhow, so that's my take on it, and I think it's a really valid comparison. So that would make me want to talk about, I've got two things I'd like to talk about. Actually, three more. I'll just share my experience. I planted a garden.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I did. I hadn't done it for a while. When I was a kid, I'd go to my grandparents, and we'd love hanging out at the farm and everything. And my parents would grow lots of stuff, which was cool. But this is the first time I'd ever attempted to grow in a garden.
Okay.
Well, no, I take that back. I did square foot gardening, which wasn't really gardening. But so anyhow, what would you think I had to do?
Well, you got to turn the soil over to start.
Why do you have to turn the soil over?
Is it to get the nutrients?
Well, I would think that, but you don't want hard packed soil, right?
Right.
Because then the water won't go through there.
Right.
The roots won't penetrate the soil, so you have to till that soil up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now here in Tennessee, you don't have the best soil.
No,
right?
not up where we
It's
live.
kind of red
especially.
and hard
Yeah.
and sandy, and so I had to bring in.
Topsoil.
Yeah, I had to bring in about 3.5 yards of topsoil.
Okay.
Put that in there. I also had to bring something nasty in.
Compost.
Manure.
Yes.
Is that not disgusting?
Well,
Manure.
no.
There's all kinds of germs in that stuff.
Well, there's all kind of nutrients.
But it's nasty.
It is nasty.
It's stuff. It's
I don't want to
stuff
step in it.
fermenting, breaking down. It's disease, right?
Well,
Compost.
I guess so. Yeah.
I was in my bare feet when I was doing it.
Were you really?
I was.
Did you feel good the next day?
Well, no. The thing is it will destroy your shoes, and your shoes will weigh 5 pounds. I promise you. You feel like you got 5-pound cannonballs on your legs. So you break the soil up, you break it up. You want to get about 3 to 6 inches of loose soil on top. Then you want to have good topsoil, and you want to have some type of manure in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we brought about 30 bags of, what kind of manure was it? One chicken.
It take a lot of chickens to come up with a 30
Yeah.
bags of manure.
I'm thinking it was cow manure. And so then, you dig a hole for the plant. You get the plant. You put the plant in there, and you put water in the hole where you put the plant, and then you water the plant. And by golly, it was amazing how those things grew. They looked kind of withered and stuff when I took them out of those little pots they have them in.
Yeah.
I put them in there. Man, just like they were reaching out to the sunshine. They were standing at attention. And I use that analogy just to say that your body is like soil. Your body needs water.
Yep.
It needs oxygen. It needs nutrients. And so if you're not drinking water, you are going to be vulnerable to stress because you're going to be dehydrated. You know,
Well, there's water in my soda though.
Oh, is there? Okay. That's
In there?
Okay. Good.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
High fructose corn syrup.
There's water in my coffee.
sweeteners, Natural flavors.
Natural flavors are good. They're
Right.
natural.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So water is important. Anything besides water is not going to be water, and so your body's going to be deficient. Your body is about 70% is water. You know, and they talk about in the fitness world, you know, like a lot of these bodybuilders will talk about their strength. And during the off season, when they're cycling their weight back on, they're trying to heal their body. They're a lot stronger because they have more water. Their body's more hydrated. But if they'll get into they lose all this weight, and actually they become sick when they lose that weight. But they become what they call dry, and their tendons or ligaments are dry, and they don't have the strength that they had, and so they're very prone to injury. So that's a good illustration as to why you should have water. One of many good illustrations. Plus, it's great for washing your body and cleaning all the junk out. Yeah, oxygen. That's pretty obvious. You know, the amazing thing about plants is they produce oxygen.
They do.
Yeah, and consume CO2, which I think God kind of knew what He was doing when He did that, didn't He?
Yeah.
Do you have a clue?
God knew what He's doing.
Do you know what He's doing when He made our bodies?
And that's why we need CO2.
Yeah.
You know, CO2 has become victimized in all this, or vandalized, I guess you'd say.
Hey, listen, it's just like high tide, low tide. It's like breathing in and breathing out.
Right.
You need CO2. Actually, CO2 is responsible to stimulate your breathing response to get oxygen in. So CO2 is critical for our breathing and respiration. What else? Nutrients, food. You know, if you're going to build a plant or build a body, you need to have good quality nutrients, building blocks.
Yeah.
You know, when you build a house, what's the first thing you build? The foundation, right?
Right.
And you got those big blocks. You lay the foundation, that's the concrete, and then you put those big blocks down there. What would you say would happen if you used like sand blocks?
Well, that'd crumble.
Water would come,
Yeah.
house would cave in, you lose all your money. So it's really important to eat good, healthy, quality food. We won't talk about that, the type of foods, but I mean, I'm just trying to get you to understand how important that is. And so if you do those things and you exercise, your body's going to be less vulnerable to stress, and your body's going to be able to shed the disease.
Yeah.
Which kind of, you know, these bodies, they're talking a lot. What, you know, we got the first brain. You know where that's at?
It's right up here.
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, allegedly. The second brain is in your belly. Now they're learning so much now about, they call it the microbiome, the microbiota. That's the bacteria that's in our belly. That's the third brain. And so that's really what you call our soil. And so actually half of our body is not even human. It's bacteria, viruses, fungi, things like that. And so so there's a movie called Sleeping with the Enemy.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched it.
Tom Hanks is in that.
Is it a good movie or something?
I don't remember.
I don't even know anything about it. But anyhow, I got to thinking, you know, with all the ideas about this virus and everything, people don't realize we have thousands of viruses inside of us.
Yeah.
That our immune system lives with, that our immune system knows about, that has antibodies for these viruses. There's tons of different bacteria that we have a relationship with. There's several bacteria that actually produce vitamin B for us, that help us digest our foods. But if the soil or the bacteria is not properly nourished, we can get some bad bacteria.
Yeah.
And then we can become vulnerable to stress, and we can develop a symptom or a disease. And really, I just like to say health is an inside job.
It's good.
Anyhow.
Can I go back to your garden analogy real quick? Because we covered you need healthy soil, you need good food, you need water, you need light. You also our body needs the bad stuff as well, the manure, which is outside our homes when we were with other people, breathing, getting all of the, maybe get a little of the virus, but
Yeah,
that builds
oh, yeah,
up
yeah.
our immunity.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I think a little bit more into this. So I'm thinking about when God's creating man,
Yeah.
Adam, and He made Adam out of dust.
That's right.
Dust.
He was a dirty man.
We came from dirt. So we're really akin to a lot of these bacteria. So I'm wondering though, was there bacteria and viruses and fungi at the time He created man?
You know, I don't think there was. I think that came with the fall.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
possibly. But the thing is He made our immune systems so they could cohabitate with all these different viruses and bacteria. In fact, that's how our body becomes healthy and stronger and more intelligent to adapt to a vector or a disease, that kind of thing. So, so this is something that's really important to understand, because when something like this happens, if you're cultivating your body and you're eating healthy and you're drinking water and exercising, and I'm going to include for me chiropractic care, you know, you don't have a lot to worry about.
You can live
At
life.
least for me, I mean, that's so. But if you're not doing those things, as you get older, you're going to have more issues. Now we're all going to die, but for me, I'd like my quality of life
That's it.
to be extended.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I might die of the flu. There's a lot of people that die of the flu.
Absolutely.
As you get older, you get asthma, things like that.
It's like we all, and you and I believe this, we all have an expiration date.
Yes.
We don't know what's going to cause it. Could be a plane crash, could be the flu. But we all have an expiration date.
Right. Exactly.
Nobody lives forever in this body anyway.
Right. Exactly. And I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, hey, I want to give you a tip. This is a great tip. There's a guy, I can't remember his name, Stan Efferding. He's really knowledgeable about nutrition and so forth. And I was watching one of his YouTube videos, and he gave a tip. And one of the tips he said is to walk briskly for 10 minutes after each meal. You do it right after your meal, he says, that will really help you digest your food, but it also improves insulin sensitivity and helps you to lose weight.
That's a good tip.
Healthy weight, yeah. So, yeah, that'd be great.
I like it.
Good, yeah. So, yeah.
One more tip I'd like you to give before we go. Everybody's been quarantined, stay at home. The government is finally allowing us back outside. How should somebody that's been stay at home for 2.5 months now?
I guess.
Is there any precautions they should take as they get back into
I
general
don't know.
public? Because I don't think, one thing I'm worried about is everybody's immunity.
Yeah.
You know, and it almost worries me that this new flu that they call COVID-19 is going to kick back in because everybody's immunity is down now.
Well, this is what I have a friend who was telling me, he talked to a buddy who's a doctor, a medical doctor, and works at a hospital. I can't remember where it was. The guy's from Ohio, and he was saying, and this is true with me too, we went on a cruise in February, and I got the flu. I had fever, headache, body aches, felt horrible. I missed a week of work. That's very unusual for me. I can count on my one hand how many times I've missed work. That was really probably the largest amount of time I ever missed from work. But I'm convinced it was something. So, you know, it may have been COVID. I don't know. I'm not going to get tested for it. I know I'm good for it. But get this, my wife did not get sick.
How about that?
She did not get sick.
And ain't nobody closer to you than your
That's
wife.
right. We share a lot of things. So anyhow, but she's been on cruises before, more than I have. And then 2 people out of the 6, 2 other people in our party had the flu.
Wow.
So yeah, we're trying to figure it out. It's like, well, we used the snorkels on a snorkeling trip. Maybe they didn't clean them out. Maybe it was from other people that had COVID that didn't get cleaned out. And so sanitizing is really a critical thing. But We know another couple that had a horrible flu after they got off a cruise in January.
How about that?
Yeah, so there's some people saying it's been around a lot longer
Yeah.
than
I have a coworker.
what's been told.
I have a coworker that thinks she had it in November.
Yeah.
And another lady in our office, this is before I started a new job this March,
Uh-huh.
past March. Another lady in our office said, yeah, she did. She had it. Because
Yeah.
it was all the symptoms that they're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's last year, November.
Yeah. Yeah, so, who knows?
So just get back out there and live life.
What else can you do?
It's a good idea to start. I think starting in the sunshine, maybe starting by taking a walk before you go to the grocery store. Get some sun, and like you said, tend your garden. Healthy foods,
Yeah.
water,
Yeah.
and then go out there and get that manure.
Yeah. Gotta get some manure. Anyhow, I don't know what else to say.
That sounds like a good wrapping up point.
Okay. We're good. Oh, hey, one more thing. Something we've been doing at the office that's new is we've been getting people with plantar fasciitis and foot problems. And I've never done this before, but in the way we treat plantar fasciitis. But I started stretching their calves. I'd have them stand on the slant board. And normally you should be able to stand at about 35 degrees. In other words, if this is your foot and this is your leg, you should be able to pull up like this about 35 degrees.
Okay.
I don't know if they even saw it. I don't know if that's a good illustration or not.
Be like this.
But so what's happening is people live in sedentary lifestyles, they can't do that. And so if they have that loss of range of motion in plantar flexion, they're going to have more issues with their feet and more easily develop plantar fasciitis. So that's really been a big change. It's really boosted our...
Just from people staying at home,
Yeah.
staying sedentary.
So yeah, I think what's going to happen when people get out, they're going to have a lot of health issues, probably stress issues, maybe get back in the gym. I just got back in the gym last week. Yeah, it's been great. So, yeah. Okay.
All right. We'll see you next time.
All right. Take care. Oh, I think that was bad.
No, that was one of our better ones.
You think so?
Yes, that was.